We're trying this again from my phone now. My sincerest apologies. So hopefully people are going to be joining this soon. Welcome to Sex with Robin, where we have technical difficulties. We want to talk about NRE today. I'll introduce myself. My name is Robin Beach, she, her pronouns. I am a former stripper, former pro-dom, former nurse with experience in cardiology, psychology, and sexual health. Now, primarily, I am a sex and relationship educator, coach, consultant, and host of this show, Sex with Robin, on Split Radio. And look, I have shit on my shirt. And this is Brandon.
Hi.
He's my husband, my co-parent, my best friend / roommate, and I'm going to need the computer back in a moment. So I know you're focused on fixing this. Can we do that after the show, now that we're actually airing? Because he's stuck on the computer trying to fix, but we're airing live now.
Hi.
So, yes, we are located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coast Salish and Musqueam Indigenous tribes, colonially known as Vancouver, Canada. I have said in the past recently that I would check out the Wet'suwet'en _ on social media. I have now confirmed from a very reliable source that that account has actually been taken over by somebody that is not there. So check out the not the Wet'suwet'en checkpoint, but the Unist'ot'en. Brandon, do you want to introduce yourself or anything that I missed and what we're talking about today?
Yeah, I have no idea what you said about me.
I just said you were my co-parent, husband.
Yeah. So I'm Brandon. I use he, him pronouns, and what she said. I'm kinky and poly and stuff. We do the things.
We do the things. Yeah, so we have 2 kids together. People ask, at least they ask me a lot. I don't know if they ask you. People always want to ask our sleeping situation. We've always had 2 separate bedrooms, regardless of like what we wanted to do or where we wanted to sleep. We've always had 2 bedrooms.
We both like sleeping by ourselves.
I really like sleeping by myself. I don't like sleeping, like, sometimes as a special occasion, but not on a regular basis.
Cuddling is nice, but sleeping is separate.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, cuddle time,
yeah.
Now sleep time. Audio working on YouTube. Peter, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Again, super apologize for the technical stuff. I'm going to ask Brandon to figure it out after our stream. I hope you can hear us clearly because I am using my phone, so the audio is not going to be great, but it's what we have. Oh, and in terms of sleeping, yeah, I also feel like this is maybe something I think we should do an episode on, like sleeping compatibility, because our sleeping compatibility, like our sleeping styles, are so different. Brandon wants like complete black darkness, like no sound. He even wears earbuds, and even then, like total silence. And that is not me. No. I like to listen to things like music or a TV show or just something.
And I want like 1 pillow and 1 blanket, and she's got like a nest, and she's watching Friends as she goes to sleep. Like, I can't. I also work graveyard shifts, so we sleep like opposite schedules. So just
that too. So we just have separate bedrooms. We kind of always have, and it works. But today's topic was actually your idea, right?
Sort of.
Because basically you weren't working. You had a really good, decent sleep at night last night. So I was like, he's actually awake. He's a lot less grumpy, but he's also a lot less grumpy because he is in full, and I mean full fucking NRE or new relationship energy swing with this new partner of his. And he's trying so hard to have a blank face right now.
Such a dork.
But you're all, and you're a dork too. So, so I thought, well, it was actually your idea. Like, let's talk about NRE because we've been talking about it, making a lot of jokes and just commenting on, because it's something to be aware of if you're in a non-monogamous relationship or any relationship, to recognize the NRE when it's there and just be aware of it and kind of check in, especially I think if you have multiple partners, to like make sure that you're still, you're not ignoring your current partners, because that can happen really easily.
And I mean, even if you're monogamous, a lot of the times when you get into NRE, you just completely abandon all of your other relationships, your friends and your family and all of that
Your
stuff. Your work sometimes, yeah. A lot of the times, NRE is this like chemical combination in your brain that makes you do stupid things in order to spend more time with the person that you're interacting with that's causing the NRE. So like if it's work stuff, you will take all of your vacation days, you will call in sick, you'll
get a lot less sleep.
You'll skip sleep so you can spend more time with them and go to work exhausted and just you'll do stupid things. And the same thing goes for if you're poly, so it can be dangerous.
Oh, sound. That has an exclamation mark comment. So it sounds like a positive. I'm glad you have sound. I hope that it is half decent. Again, I'm using my phone right now, so audio might not be great. My apologies. I'll get Brandon on it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what new relationship energy is that it's literally a chemical thing. Things are exciting and you tend to like get really infatuated and really obsess sometimes. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. But that I find it an interesting conversation. Do you love NRE or do you hate it? Because some people really hate it. They don't like that they're not in the best state of mind to make a rational decision, necessarily. Or they might feel, I know people that, especially that have concerns with trust or maybe past traumas. They're like, is this NRE like tricking my brain? Is this actually not a great person and I'm just super Twitter pated?
Yeah, and a lot of the times because NRE will mask incompatibilities because you just ignore them. So people will get in a relationship and just be super full of NRE, and then once that wears off, they're like, I don't actually like this person that much. We don't connect on any level. We were just really into each other, and it like lasts like a couple months or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it could last anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple years. It can last a couple years.
It's really rare. It will last a couple of years. It's actually probably, I think, more common with polyamory just because you can't actually see the person as much as you want. So it will last longer because it's like stretched out.
We got a comment here. Great sound. Yay. And poo to NRE. KT. Thank you for that comment. And yeah, is it also for the same reason? You feel like maybe you just don't trust yourself or your ability to make a good decision? I don't know. But I was actually thinking about this and talking about this recently where Brandon is the one in a new relationship. Him and his new, can I say girlfriend partner? New girlfriend partner they are like both admittedly in full swing NRE. And so I get to be like over here watching, but it has affected that's his ringtone. Shut up. I know Peter knows that ringtone. Who else is going to know what that ringtone was? Turn your sound off.
Fine.
Please.
I never get phone calls. Of course, I get phone calls while I'm...
Ooh, from the dentist.
From the dentist. Very exciting.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, that your NRE relationship has significantly impacted our interactions. Like just as an example, I was cleaning or cooking in the kitchen and Brandon just like comes along and just starts like dancing with me, as you do, is all adorably in the kitchen. And so I'm like really happy and we're just randomly dancing in the kitchen, no music. And I had to tease him. I was like, I love NRE, Brandon. And in our style, our endearing style, he was like, you just called me like a jerk or something. Like, fuck off. We had a laugh. But you have been in such a good mood. You have been more energetic.
Yeah, I've also been taking more time off than I have in the last 2 years, so that helps too.
We've got another comment here. From Christy. Hi, Christy. She says, I love NRE. How long does this stage last for you guys? I've been in this relationship for like 8 months and I'm still running on high. You know, I would say my NRE with you lasted like a good couple of years.
Yeah, and then you realize you didn't like me.
No, that's not what happened. No, and see, I don't know how much of our relationship in particular was affected by like kids.
I mean, that does change things.
Which,
sure.
and our roommate actually at the time observed and commented on how he saw our dynamic shift throughout my pregnancy in the first year of having kids. So I don't know whether some of that was NRE affected or kid affected. It's probably both. But I felt very Twitter-pated with you for at least a year or two, at least, where it was like you could still look at me and I would still get all fluttery.
I mean, yeah, probably at least until the wedding.
Yeah. Which maybe try not to get married before the NRE wears off.
That was kind of a joke, but
that was it. No, marriage wasn't as significant for us, at least for me, as kids were. In our relationship, that was a major base for our relationship. We really, really, really wanted kids. So even when we were dating, even when we were Twitter-pated, we recognized our compatibility as parents and really, really, really wanted kids. And it was kind of like, do we get married? Sure.
You were like, I don't want to get married just because we're having kids. I'm like, okay. And then I proposed a little bit later, and you're just like totally blown away.
I didn't expect. I was like, yeah, sure. Like really I've never been. Yeah, you were like, and I was like, I don't want to get married just because we're having kids, but clearly we're making a commitment. I believe I had said, I'm okay getting married now or in 20 years. And then you proposed to me and I wasn't expecting it. So yeah, and I've had relationships, yeah, where I felt quite Twitter-pated for a while. It depends if you develop the relationship, like if you're really invested in it. Whereas if it's like just NRE, I've definitely had shorter experiences where for like a month or two, I'm obsessed. And then I'm like, wow, it wears off. And then I'm like, I don't see the appeal anymore. I'm sorry, that sounds really insensitive.
Yeah, but I mean, it's true a little bit.
A little bit. That's kind of what happens sometimes. You start noticing little things that irritate you, or yeah. Here's another comment here. I'll try to put it up on the screen. Here we are. Oh, it is a longer one, so not all of it is able to show up on the screen, but I will read all of it. I feel self-aware enough for my own NRE, but I have extreme trust issues with their NRE because of past connections who have based it on NRE, and when the NRE faded, so did they. I tend to be wary of their promises and emotions during the NRE stage. Oh, and the last part was just the sign off, KT. Yeah, Brandon, what's your response?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are people that chase NRE too, where they just bounce from relationship to relationship so they can feel that NRE feeling over and over and over again.
Yeah.
NRE addiction is a thing.
NRE addiction is definitely a thing. People that kind of chase it, you see that a lot in like serial monogamy or even in the non-monogamy scene, you see that a lot. Yeah. I was definitely a serial monogamist for a little while when I tried monogamy.
When I tried monogamy.
When I kind of tried it, and I would just bounce and bounce, but that wasn't, I think, as much about NRE as that's a whole other topic. I was trying to.
Yeah, I mean.
My friends were committing me, what's the word I'm looking for? My friends were
Um,
accusing me of having commitment issues or fears of commitment. And I realized I was having fears of exclusivity. Once I felt freer to have a consensually non-monogamous relationship, I had no problem committing to Brandon or committing to other partners. I just was afraid of the exclusivity because that's not me. So yeah, let's talk about your NRE because there have been a lot of positives. You've been more energetic. You've been in a much better mood. You've been cuddlier with me, I've noticed, which I'm like, okay, I'll take some of the like residual.
the splash NRE.
There needs to be a term for that if you have one. The splash, the residual left. I'll take the leftovers. I'm just teasing. But there's been a couple. There's only been like twice where I was irritated over it, and that's when you're with your partner. And I get it. I'm not one to like text you constantly, but I'm talking like when he is here in the house with her and I can't get something I need. I can't talk to him. Yeah. He just kind of disappears. And I'm like, I'm trying really hard to be respectful. I know you want your space and like you want your time together. The only times I've been irritated, yeah, is if you're like on your phone and I'm trying to get your attention because you're texting constantly. And I'm like, that's cute. But I need you to do this for me, please. It's dinner time, or like it's time to get the kids ready for bed. Come on. Or yeah, the one time when you were here and I was like, I didn't want to knock on the door. I kind of needed you for something and I didn't want to interrupt. And so then I tried texting you. And then you didn't even see it until after she'd left. He hadn't even picked up his phone when he was with her. So I was like, but that's a normal thing. And that's something where I had a ping of what might have been what I might have called jealousy in my stomach. It happened once, a tiny ping. And then I was like, I took a moment. This is what I did. I made myself super aware of the moment. I was like, oh, I'm having this feeling. When did I start having this feeling? Because sometimes you don't recognize it. And I'm like, it was when I was texting and you weren't answering. Okay, what does that mean? What are the root problems? And I was like, okay, I'm not getting something I'm needing in that moment. So not getting your needs met. And maybe it's a fear of abandonment. That's a real thing. And so it was like a really hardcore check-in on myself. And because like I said, it was just a minor ping. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm just irritated because I want him right now and I can't have him right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And then I felt totally fine. It was legit like a 30-second to a 60-second evaluation on my part. And then I was like, oh, sometimes you got to do that. And I was actually really proud of myself that I was able to, because usually that's, I'm good at doing that for other people, not always myself.
Makes sense.
Welcome to Sex with Robin,
Yeah.
where when I have Brandon on, I talk, and every now and then Brandon.
Well, it's not, you didn't ask me a question, you just like rambled.
I know, because I realized I was rambling.
And then you're like, look at me like I'm supposed to say something.
Yeah, what's your response to that?
What was your question?
I didn't ask a question.
That's my point.
I know, but I just told a story. Do you have thoughts or responses to that? Your experience?
No, and I mean, I'm particularly bad for getting back to people when I'm with other people anyways, because I tend to be like very focused on whoever I'm with.
Yeah, which
for the most
I totally get.
So,
yeah.
I mean, even when it's not NRE, that's kind of an issue with me. So,
but you'll admit it's been particularly.
I mean, if they're here, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when they're not here, too, there's texting, and it's fine. That's what you do. I'm not pissed. I was just saying, like, you gotta admit that's the NRE.
Some of it, but it's also just kind of how I operate, anyways. The problem with like NRE just kind of enhances those.
Yeah.
Things that makes you want to do that more. So.
And I know you really love like texting as well. And with when you're engaged in a good conversation and yeah. He does like to text. I'm not as much of a texter. And so that's also what?
Introvert, extrovert.
Exactly. I was just going to say that's a compatibility thing. So that's recognizing in myself when I tend to get annoyed that someone is like texting a lot or they're on their phone a lot, but you're really introverted. You're on your phone a lot. And I have to try to remind myself that that's just something that maybe I don't understand or that I can't relate to as much.
Introverts frequently prefer things like text messages because you can think about what you're going to say before you say it.
Yeah.
Right. And you can like write something out and then be like, I didn't say that right or whatever, and just kind of alter it a little bit. Whereas you being an extrovert, you just like say things.
Yeah, I can't stand the thought of sitting on my phone texting for a long time. So to those of you that I do text occasionally and I'm not usually talkative, that's just who I am. I'm not a big texter.
You're one of those weird people that prefers phone calls.
No, don't call me. Don't call me. You can text me and I will get to it when I'm able to.
Sure.
But I'm just not a big texter.
If you can find your phone.
We got another comment here. Let's pull that. Oh, I keep tapping the wrong or clicking the wrong thing. Here we are. I communicate so much better via text. I sometimes struggle with verbal communication where I can communicate very well via text. Thank you, Christy, for that comment. That is totally Brandon. He is much better at communicating in writing, even like emails or text.
I saw there was a really funny meme and it was like a three-headed dragon kind of thing, and it was like these like two serious dragon heads, and it's like me when I'm texting and like me when I'm writing an email or something like that, and the third one was like the derpiest dragon face you've ever seen, and it's like me when I'm speaking. So it's like, yay, introverts. We're just like, I can't speak.
Hey, so that's an interesting question. Do you feel that your introvertism and your internal processing brain, how do you feel, like, is there a difference between someone who's really introverted as someone who's introverted when they're in NRE? That was a really jumbled question. Okay, I'll ask it again.
I wouldn't know because I'm not both.
But you've seen like me in NRE. And I've seen you, so we can make observations on each other. And I want to know if there's a difference, or if anyone out there feels like there's a difference in how NRE might manifest based on just personality types. Or is that way too complex?
I mean, obviously it's going to be different for different people.
Yeah.
I mean, even two introverts are going to not necessarily manifest NRE in the same ways. And it's going to look different with different people. And it's going to like, I mean, even for me with different partners, it looks different. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's hard to kind of specify that. Really.
So how do you navigate your NRE right now?
Badly. I don't know. I hate NRE.
Yeah.
I hate it because it's so stupid.
Okay, if you're listening, let me know, particularly if you like love or hate NRE and why, because that's a fun conversation to have. So, because why is it that you hate NRE?
Because it makes me stupid sometimes. Like you don't, like you can't. I'm a very rational, logical person. I think things through beforehand. And when I'm like really into NRE, you make more decisions based on emotion. You make more decisions quickly than you necessarily would normally.
Yeah.
You make bad decisions just to fuel the NRE sometimes, because like your brain wants more of the NRE chemicals. Yeah. So you do the stupid things, and then I'm like, God damn it, brain, shut up. Just let me be a normal person. Damn it. Yeah.
So I almost want you to elaborate on that. Like when you say stupid brain, is it like obsessing or not sleeping because you're thinking about it, or is it planning stuff, or like what is it when you're like stupid brain?
They're not like intrusive thoughts or anything like that, but like it alters your decision making process. Like it changes the way you would necessarily make decisions normally. So you like it's
I still want an example.
like I don't have an example. I mean, it's like making a decision when you're upset, right? Like the fact that you're upset is going to change the decision that you make. Like you normally, if you're upset, you want to wait until you're not upset to make a decision so that you can have a clear-headed decision. NRE doesn't go away very quickly. So you keep making stupid decisions.
Got a comment from Mandy. Hi, Mandy. NRE has looked different for different relationships for me. That's fair. I guess, yeah, it depends on the type of relationship. Oh, actually, this is a good point. When I'm in NRE, I feel like parts of me that are similar to that person will really come out. If that makes sense.
That's not even necessarily NRE, though. We do that with everyone that we want to spend time with. If we people that we like and that we're around, humans naturally kind of adapt to fit in a little bit.
But the hormones that are involved with NRE are quite a bit responsible for those mirroring behaviors and for maybe being, if you're dating somebody that's really into Star Trek, you're going to find yourself, I've already liked Star Trek, but I'm going to get really into it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about my situations with NRE. If I have a partner that is really into gardening, you find me getting really into gardening.
Or if your new partner's goth.
Or if your new partner's goth, you're constantly wearing guy liner, which I approve. I love guy liner or eyeliner. I shouldn't call it guy liner.
I like wearing eyeliner on dates when I can, but
I love it. Okay. Oh yeah, me too, Mandy from Christy. Another comment here. I love NRE. I love falling in love. I know Mandy just shamelessly loves NRE, and it's so fucking endearing. By the way, Mandy's going through some hard stuff right now, so just sending you love. This love. Lots of love. Who posted this? I can't see. Love-hate relationship. I hate thinking about the other person all the time, but I like when I'm with them. That's fun. I like. That sounds like it makes sense to you. I'm like, huh?
I mean, it's true, and it's really frustrating with poly because, like, when you're monogamous or you know, unattached or whatever, when NRE hits really hard, you could just live at the other person's house for a month.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like, I have a family and I work and I have to be here. So like I can't just go live at their house, and they have a partner that they live with. I can't just sleep in their bed every night. That doesn't work. So like thinking about them all the time, but then you got to like figure out like where you can fit in time together, like, and then
every possible bit.
Yeah, and then like with the kids around and stuff, it's really hard to be like actually together with the kids climbing on you, and it's just frustrating sometimes.
Actually, see, I want to come back to that because I did have a question or an observation, but I kind of just want to ask where has there been conversation about you two together around the kids?
Briefly, yeah.
About her being your girlfriend? Like, have the kids asked you any questions? Because I haven't gotten any from them.
I don't typically like explain things to the kids, honestly. Just like kids understand things in terms of friendship when they're that young, so they're just like a friend that sleeps over, and it is what it is, right? And it's not really something that they worry about too much.
Yeah, that's fair. The other thing that I was thinking is, I wonder if that has to do with NRE based on like your age and your stage in life. Because like now we're at the age and the stage in our life where we can't just live at each other's houses. But we totally did stuff like that in our 20s when we had the freedoms.
Yeah, but not
like
it does depend though. Like if both of you were originally single, then that can work. But if you're not, like when we started dating, we were pretty NRE, and I had a partner that I was living with.
Yeah.
That didn't work. We couldn't just spend all of our time together. Right. I spent a lot of time in your space, but I couldn't spend all of my time there.
Right.
I remember one of my first girlfriends when we started dating, I just literally stayed at their house for almost a month. Like,
I've done that. I'm pretty sure I've done that as well. Let's see, got more comments. It's from Christy. She says, I love NRE because I feel wanted and needed. It fulfills that area of my messed up brain that makes me feel wanted, needed. Oh, so true. I feel that, Christy. I do. When I'm in NRE, I feel really attractive. Like I do with somebody that is really interested in me and we're all into each other. It makes me feel really desirable and attractive. So that I think, yeah, speaks to when you say your messed up brain, like that's sometimes an area of insecurity in my brain is, especially someone who had worked in the adult industry for so long and as a stripper, being attractive or desirable to the general public, or really, let's just be real, to men, is something that is an insecurity of mine. So when I'm quite happy when I feel attractive. But the wanting and needing, that sounds like an emotional thing as well, that you feel emotionally wanted and needed. Just
yeah, especially if you have if you have like an anxiousness to your personality or like an anxiety disorder or something like that, there can be a lot of like negative thoughts about yourself, and the NRE can kind of help push those away for a little while. So if you're like really strong in NRE and the person that you're with is like, affirming those affections to you, it can really help with self-image and stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely a desirable thing.
Mandy's got a great comment. My biggest gripe with NRE is lack of sleep.
Oh my God, the first week I started dating this person, I literally could not sleep. I slept so badly.
You were such a dork.
It was so bad.
Just up texting or just all like can't sleep?
I just couldn't sleep. Like I just had, I don't know, too much dopamine in my system that like my body was just like, you're gonna lay here and stare at the ceiling.
That's so cute.
It was so annoying. I couldn't. I hate it.
I do not have that problem.
Well, I do because the like graveyard shift.
But you're also
my sleep schedule is weird. So like I go to bed, I'm like I'm exhausted. I go to bed and I'm just like, and I'm awake.
Yeah. Going through some more comments. These are great comments. Thank you so much. Keep it up. We've got a comment here from KT. I love the wave of good vibes with NRE, but I'm cautious with it and hope that partner is enjoying them with caution too. Like extreme sports. Enjoy the adrenaline, but be careful not to injure yourself. Yes. That's a good analogy, actually. Yeah, I like that.
That's, it's important to talk about that kind of stuff with your partner, especially if you're like super into it and you're like, holy crap, I can't even sleep. Like, this is really intense NRE feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you feeling? Can we try and be Kitty? Can we try and be like aware of the fact that like a lot of this right now is just brain chemistry, and try and build a relationship that's not based on that brain chemistry and isn't going to be like crazy shallow.
Yeah.
Talking about it and trying to focus on things besides just what your body wants you to do. Sometimes like finding mutual interests and doing things besides sex things, for example, is a really good way to like mitigate some of the bad sides of NRE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really well said. And someone commented, Kitty. Yes, my cat has joined. She just wants to be pet. She just wants to be pet. Another comment from Mandy. And see, I like to feel wanted, but the second I feel needed, NRE is over for me. Interesting. It's probably because Mandy, you already have such a demanding life and a lot of people and dependents, like literally that depend on you and that need you.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? And you're like, nope, that plate is full.
I
Want me? Don't need me.
So I have a little bit of white knight in me.
Uh,
So
you do.
being needed sometimes feels good.
You have a white
But-
knight inside you? I want a white knight inside me. That sounds weird. There was an innuendo. I couldn't.
Dignifying that with a
Okay.
response.
So you go on. White knight. Let's talk about white knight syndrome because this person has white knight syndrome.
To a degree. I'm better than I used to be.
I was talking about it with your brother too, who has, you know, which one
Also,
has really bad white knight syndrome.
He's worse at it than
Yeah,
I
he is.
am. I have gotten better, but he's just like, I'm gonna rescue you, and no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. But yeah, he's rescued a few people.
And there's nothing wrong with some of that. It's almost like that sports thing. Be careful because if you have that white knight syndrome, you are going to be a bit of a beacon for people that might want to take advantage.
Wanting to help people is great, but like rescuing someone from a bad situation and not having any boundaries around that is not healthy for either person. And like, oh, what was I gonna say? I lost it.
That's all right. We got other comments to catch up on. Oh, I think this is the last one so far. Here we go. Christy says, this week's sleep has been so hard. This relationship took a shift recently for the better, like meeting family members, etc. It's caused a renewed wave of NRE and the lack of sleep is real. Lol. Totally. When there are shifts or in a relationship, and of course it's hard to not talk about it in a relationship escalator way, but there's definitely like if there's a shift in the relationship that almost renews. I love that you said it. A renewed wave of NRE.
Yeah,
You're entering a new stage of the relationship, and there's an NRE of that stage.
Or even just if you're in the same stage, but there's like an intentional renewal or reaffirmation of the relationship. A lot of the times with DS, if like nothing can change necessarily, but like you give someone a color, and so all of a sudden there's that whole like it didn't change anything about the relationship other than now you have this symbol, right? So it can.
Yeah. It's just I often think it's often just NRE of that new state of relationship, and that could be moving in together. That could be getting married, the honeymoon stage, right? Like when we got married, we were already living together. Like nothing changed other than the fact that we got married, and it was still like there was still a honeymoon phase.
Was there? You were pregnant, so there wasn't that much of a honeymoon phase. You were just pregnant.
It was a very short honeymoon phase.
Yeah, okay.
No, and we were also exhausted from the wedding. But I do recall it was a solid week after the wedding where we were sitting on the couch. That's all we did for like a week. And we played video games and had sex. That's basically what we did for a week. We didn't leave our apartment once to buy a new TV, remember? We bought a new TV. The day after our wedding, we went out and got a TV. And then we stayed at home for an entire week. You don't remember because we were legit. We didn't leave the couch. We just stayed on the couch, showered, had sex, played video games.
Sounds like a good week.
It was a wicked week. It was an amazing week. You don't seem to remember. Jerk.
I don't talk about.
Okay. Got a comment here from Mandy. I used to be a fixer, in quotes, and would take on, again, quote, projects. I try hard not to do that now.
I love how like the distinction. It's funny because like women will take on projects and men will like rescue.
No, rescue versus fixing. Yeah, there is that gendered. It is a very gendered concept in at least culturally. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
women tend to be called fixers.
Yeah, and you're supposed to be our therapist and like all that stuff. Right?
Ooh, that's gross.
Yeah, and like men, especially like if you have like a white knight kind of thing, you find people you can rescue sometimes.
and you're very attracted to someone that is, oh,
What was it? It was like emotionally unstable, but working on it or something like
no,
that.
no, I just had, I'm trying to remember the phrasing. Someone help me out here. Moulin Rouge. Nicole Kidman is trying, she goes, what's his type? Bright and bubbly? And then there was like a, and then she does smoldering temptress, but the one in the middle was like kind of like sad and like needs to be rescued and, you know, fragile and sad. Like, and it just made me think of that.
Yeah.
That it, yeah. That if Nicole Kidman as a courtesan was coming for you, that would be your type. That like kind of potentially. I'm just trying to remember what the line was. Damsel in distress.
Yes.
A little bit.
Vaguely.
Less of the Popeye wiggly arms and more of the quiet, sweet and
Princess tied to the railroad tracks.
princess tied to the railroad tracks. That's actually, we should talk about that in another episode. Comment from KT, fixing others' issues when you can't make progress on your own issues is truly addictive. Yes, because 1,000% that is a way of avoiding your own issues.
Yeah.
You find something to latch onto, consciously or subconsciously, as a way to avoid your own stuff.
People do that with all sorts of things. They'll go and they'll help someone else clean their house, but they won't clean their own house, or they'll like help other people run errands, but they don't want to run their own, or they'll like talk someone through a phone call, but they're avoiding the phone call themselves.
There's a lot of layers to that type as well. When it comes to things like anxiety and depression, that those that have experienced it quite heavily will do anything to avoid others experiencing that. And I've seen a lot of memes like this on Facebook where they're like, I have too much anxiety to get ketchup, but if someone asks for ketchup, I'm like out of my seat getting it for them.
Yeah.
The caretaker kind of.
I wouldn't do it for myself, but if anyone else needs something, I'm there for it. Right?
Oh, here's a really great comment. It's way easier to fix someone else. Yeah. And it takes away personal accountability in some ways. But the issue, I think that, I feel like this is a whole other episode, but if you're going to try to be a fixer or a rescuer or whatever, and you're involved with them, that creates a dual relationship. That's why therapists, you know, and healthcare providers are not supposed to date or be friends with their clients, because
professional distance.
Well, a dual relationship can cause issues. If you're someone's therapist and you have a really personal, close, or intimate relationship with them, that might affect your work relationship, and vice versa. If you're really close with them, you might not be able to call them out on their shit or be objective. So,
or they might also not listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole bunch of like reasons that a dual relationship can conflict, and that's why and I've told people, like, if you are going to be that person that really wants to help, either they should get professional help, or you should try to avoid a dual relationship. If you're personally intimately involved with them and trying to get them help, that can go really wrong. And also, if you're not you're not a therapist, and if you are a therapist, you know better.
Yeah, that makes me think of Raising Hope. The mother's parents is a therapist and his patient.
Oh yeah.
It's
on the show Raising Hope. It's a really cute show.
It's a really unhealthy relationship.
But it's okay. We just have a few minutes left, so we can kind of just wrap up. I will say real quick, of course, I gotta throw it on there. Go to adamandeve.com. You can use my promo code. Where the hell is it? That is not my promo code. My promo code is SWR for 50% off almost any one item, including free shipping in the US and Canada. Feel free to use that however you like. Treat yourself with a nice toy. I've gotten a new toy recently from Adam and Eve, and I've been testing it. So I'll be coming out with a review soon. But yeah, I'm reviewing and testing very thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be
thorough with these things.
I gotta use it a lot to get a good opinion. So, thank you, Brendan, for sharing. Oh, here we are. Another comment from Mandy. Thank you so much for the love and support. I love you all so much. I love you, Mandy, and I love your family so much. All the love. Oh, you're such a sap. I love NRE, Brandon. It's so cute. I know.
I hate you
I'm teasing you.
so much.
I know. I love you too. So thank you, Brendan, for sharing your NRE too, your NRE experiences. We got a comment from Christy. Me too. Thanks for your promo code and the masturbation episode. Yeah, that was so much fun. That was fun. We should do another, what do you say, masturbation episode? Another comment. I adore NRE Brandon. I fucking love NRE Brandon. He's already cute, okay? But it's really emphasized how so cute he is.
I hate all of you.
That means he loves you, but he's embarrassed. So yeah, thanks again, Brandon, for just being here. And I have promised this topic, and I'll do it next week. And I don't know if you want to be interested or not. It's an interesting topic.
If I want to be interested.
Thank you. If you want to and or are interested in the topic, I want to talk about like mask bottoms and femtops, because in a lot of the social media or just media in general, you see it's a very gendered issue where you see a lot of male tops and female bottoms, which is fine, but you don't get enough representation on more mask bottoms and femtops. And some of the representations that do exist are usually really problematic and meant to be like a punchline. So I want to talk about
really coded towards the male gaze.
Yeah. So I want to get into that next week. And I also just sincerely want to thank everyone for your patience and understanding while I was gone for like 2 weeks. There was a lot happening, most of which my back pain was really bad. Someone in our household tested positive for COVID. We're totally fine. There was almost no symptoms. And we're fine. We're all testing negative now. Yeah. So it was just like that on top of a whole bunch of things. I was barely on my phone. I don't think I posted anything. So I apologize for being so MIA, and thank you for understanding. So there we are. There you have it. Just got a couple more comments here. Peter says, yes, more femdom male sub relationships. I totally want to discuss that. So we are going to do that next week, Peter. Next week, unless I get COVID or something again. Oh, I didn't get it, but you know what I mean. I'll be there next Monday. That's our topic.
Well, the reason you couldn't last week is because the kids are home. Aren't they on like summer break next week?
Oh, fuck. They're going to be on summer break. I'll figure that out. Maybe you can help.
No.
Okay, last comment here. That trope is everywhere. I would love to see more variety of combos, KT. Yes, thank you for that. Oh, and I said last comment, but it's not. I like Peter's last comment. Yay!
You would.
Of course I do. So thank you, everyone, again for joining, and I'll see you next week. Also, please do not forget that we are now, I have to keep reminding everyone and myself, we're now on SoundCloud and we're on Spotify and all those things. So you can always listen later. Feel free to share that because it helps. And it's like, yeah, I want, people are saying they love that platform. So if there's any other platforms you want, I'll give it to you. Love you. I'll say bye, Brandon.
Bye, Brandon.
This should work. I hope there's audio. It might not.
Butt plug still the